Welcome guys from YouTube, and thank you for choosing this video once again. So I won't make so much introduction. I've already introduced myself from the guys who are watching this live on TikTok. And today's session, it's going to be random. I'm doing a random session and I'll be teaching you guys how to get started with HTML. Remember, every website you see out there, it has an HTML structure. So HTML is the backbone and it stands for Hypertext Markup Language. It's not that important what HTML stands for. What's important is, do you know how to use HTML? That's the important question of today. So let us get started. You will go to your internet in case you don't have a text editor. So remember, you are someone who is still new. You want to test whether you like what's being shown to you or not. So I won't be directing you as to deeper details, but an overview of how you can get started, and if you love what I do, and then you can we can speak further as to what tools are recommended for you. So you will go to the internet and type W3 School. So W3 School is a website that allows online learning, especially for IT guys. Let me put it like that. And as you can see here, there is a lot of tabs you can choose from. There is Java, there is SQL, PHP, etc., etc. But as someone who likes to do websites, before you come into SQL, CSS, and PHP, please start with HTML. Don't make that mistake of jumping. You start here. So we'll just say HTML. So as you can see, they have a tutorial here on the site. And what I like about W3 School is that they have structured their table of content very well. It goes step by step, so you don't really get lost along the way. As you can see, there is home, introduction, editors, basic elements, attributes, heading, and there is a whole lot of list. The deeper you go, the more advanced it is, you see. So I will just take you from the core, so that you guys can have a head start. So what HTML is, it's a language that tells the browser how your website is structured. That is very important because later on, when you use CSS, which is the colors, the fonts, things like that, and when you also implement JavaScript, which is for validation and some fun uh, movements, let me put it like that, they will need HTML so that they can communicate with your website accordingly. Let me show you an example of a website out there. Let us go to this website. For example, this is one of my websites. The fact that you are seeing the structure, there is a space on this side, there is space on that other side, that is CSS giving the spaces, right? But for CSS to come alive, or for you guys to see the effects of CSS, the website must have an HTML. HTML is the structure, and then CSS tells the structure how to look like. JavaScript tells the structure how to behave. I hope you guys are getting the difference here. So with CSS, we are talking about the looks. Hence, CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheet. So it's about the styling. And JavaScript is for a lot of things, but in the front end point of view, it's about the behavior of the structure. So I hope you guys get the difference between the two. Let us go back here. So I won't take you guys through all of these things. Some of them I will explain them together while I'm busy coding. So with W3 School, they have given us a plot here. This one is acting as a live text editor, meaning what you are seeing here, what I'm highlighting, it's the code. But remember, many people don't understand code. They prefer seeing what the code does. They don't understand this. But for someone who is interested in IT, or you love IT, you love playing around with code, this should be your soulmate. And then the people will see the results with the baby. For example, people are seeing this, but when I am working on the website, I look at the code. So to give you an overview, this is what I deal with when for this website to be seen the way it is. I had to work on this behind the scene, but people don't want to see this. People want to see this. They want to see the results. So if you are someone who likes to work with code, this is how you get started. So enough of me talking. Let us get into it. So some of the things here you guys may not understand. You are still new, and it's okay. It's okay. Bear with me. So there is this code in here which says doc type HTML. This line is basically telling the browser as to what you are dealing with here. It's an HTML script, right? Keep that in mind. And then we also have tags. The HTML one, it's the first that you normally start with when you are working with an HTML script, right? And it will be at the top and then at the end. So basically you open it, and between the HTML tags there are other tags that go in. The first important one for the browser to understand your page, it's called the title tag, which goes inside the header tag. Don't be confused by this at this point in time. What we will be working with, the one thing that interests you, is the script that goes inside body. So everything that you see inside this body tag, it's the one that the user is able to see. You see all of this that you are seeing on the screen, it is inside the body tag. That is why it is visible to the user. I hope you guys understand. If it's inside the body tag, it's invisible. It's visible to the user. Yes. So meaning when I say try it yourself, on the screen I am expecting to see this is a paragraph in big font, and then in small font I am expecting to see this is a paragraph. Remember to tell them that whatever they write, they need to close. Oh, someone is saying I should remind you guys that whenever I am talking about the elements, whatever you write, you also need to close it. Meaning when you say HTML here, you see this HTML, it's less than, HTML greater than, and when you close it, there will be a forward slash before the HTML. These are called opening tags. And then in some cases there are self-closing tags which don't require to be closed, and I will make an example of a few, right? So now let us say try it yourself and see how it looks, right? Let us say try it yourself so that you guys can understand what I am showing you here. Let me just move my camera here so that you guys can see proper. Okay, let me just, can you guys see proper? I need to buy a bigger screen. Okay, but I hope you guys can see. So we have the code here on our left, and these are the results. So people will see this when they go to the site which has this code, right? And some of you already are wondering why this text is big, this one is small. It's because by default, these are the default settings of the language. H1 is the head of the house. Let me put it like that. So H1 is the most important heading of the page, and it will by default take this styling. It will be bold and it will be big. And remember, you can always manipulate this size in case you don't like it, because we have CSS, so why not utilize it? And for a paragraph, it will take this kind of styling. And some of you can already notice that there is a space here. You see this space here, but here on the typing there was no space. So also by default, the the H1 tag, it has some padding around it. You see at the top it has some padding, and at the bottom it also some padding. So basically it says I don't want anything else too close to me, because I am important, I need my own space. But remember, you can always manipulate this if you are using CSS. So who is the lady? Let me go back to the comment. Is Ampo. Ampo said I should also tell you that when you open a tag, you need to close it. So let me show you an example of a tag that doesn't necessarily needs to be closed, because whenever you are looking the ones you are seeing on the screen, you open H1, you close H1. You open P, which is for a paragraph tag, and then you close it. But now there is this other one called HR, horizontal. Basically you are trying to divide your content. Let's say that's the case, so you will just say HR like this, and it's a self-closing tag. So what this does, it will just make a line this side. It will just make a line. It stands for horizontal line. So if I say run, there you guys now see the line. So this one, it's a self-closing tag. There was no need for me to verbally close it, right? So I hope you guys are still following. Another thing that you will need to practice or to be familiar with when it comes to HTML is that you need to familiarize yourself with the tags, because whenever you are coding here, you are dealing with tags most of the time, and you must know what they are and what is it that they do. For example, I am someone who has been in the game for a while, so I know some of the tags by head. I don't necessarily need to go back to the notes and be like, yeah, and then how does this work, etc., etc. There's a few things that I know. So I won't tell you much about the good practices at this point in time. I just want you guys to have the interest of learning. Remember, when someone is doing something for the first time, or you are teaching someone for the first time, don't be too legal, don't be too formal. That person is just wants to learn. So if I teach you now about the good practices, you guys will be like, nah, this is too much. I mean, I'm just showing you the interest that you can write code and it can appear like this, right? So many of you don't like to deal with the blank color, especially girls. When they see a lot of white, they get bored, they want to see pink. So let us introduce a little bit of CSS on our code here, right? And I know some of you are wondering as to, come on, we just started CSS and now we are moving, we just started HTML, how come we are now moving into CSS? I just want you guys to get a quick overview of what is happening. So for us to implement the CSS outside the body, we will just say style, we close it, go to the next line, we open it, and then we close it. So what I am doing here, let me give it some lines so that you guys can see what's happening. So what is happening here, I am telling the browser that the code that I will put inside here, it's a styling code. Basically, I want you to manipulate the beauty of my body. That's what I'm saying here. So first of all, let us start with the body. As you can see, the body, it's a global tag. So if it's a global tag, there is no need for me to write anything before the word body. I will just write it as it is, right? So I will just say body, and then what is it that we want to do with our body? We want to, can you please move the camera a little bit to the left? My left is this one. Yes. So what is it that we want to do with our body? We want to change the background color. Let it be pink. I mean, there are a lot of girls today in my session, so let us do pink. So we will say background. So we will say background. And remember, guys, the word background, it's a key word, meaning you must write it exactly as it is, right? So we'll just say background color. The reason why I am this fluent is because I am already familiar with the writing and blah blah blah. So for the color, I will just write the word so that I don't confuse you guys. But there are a lot of ways you can do a color in coding. But before I write the word as it is, let me just flex a bit, right? And show you that you can do a color in multiple ways. I will just say hashtag, and I want to do red here. So I will just say F A and then 000, right? How many zeros are there? There should be 4. Okay. So if I say, oh, let me also close here. So now when I say run, I am expecting my background color on the other side to be red, because this is the color red. You see, I'm just trying to flex here, guys, you see, and I'm not trying to scare you. So let me say run, the background color is red. And if I were to do green, I will just say I will maybe say 0, 3, for example, and then I will say FB, and then I will say 00, for example. This one will be green. So there you have, there you go, you have green. But enough of me flexing. Let me just write the word pink so that you guys see how this thing works. I will just say pink. We have girls today, so let's accommodate them. If I say run, there we go, our background color, it's pink. And the way it works, guys, it's because when I say style, you see, I open the style, I close it, the code itself understand that I now want to make effect in the body section, because with the styling you can only manipulate what the person can see. CSS, it's a styling language, let me put it like that. So there are a lot of things that we can manipulate. For example, we can manipulate the width, how wide we want our body to be. We can also do a background of an image. We can also set a certain font that we like. There is a lot that we can do, but for now let me move to another element, right? So now let us move to H1. I will move to H1, and for H1 we are now talking about this. We are talking about the text. What is it that we can manipulate with a text? We can manipulate its dash size. So the font size, it's a word that you need to remember, because it's a keyword. This one, you can't make a spelling mistake. If you make a spelling mistake, no effects will take place, because the code will be confused. What is it that you are trying to do, right? So the font size, let me just make it big so that you guys can see the change here. I'll just say 70 pixel, By default, I know 70 pixel it's too big. So I'll just say 70 pixel, and then I will just say run. You see, now the text is big. And when you are still new, don't be afraid to practice and put random numbers to see what will happen. For example, some of you may want to happen I may want to know what will happen if I use the color white and the background. I mean, if I use the color, where is it? Yes, for the text here. What will happen if I put the color pink while the background is pink? That means you won't see the text, but the text will be there. So let us make a practice about that. I will just say color, right? And then some of you may notice the color I am using here, the spelling is American, is not South African, so you need also to take notes of that. And for the color, let me just say pink, and let us see if we are still going to see this color or not. Let me just say run. You see, the text is not there. Well, you may think so. The text is there, but because the color is the same as a background, which is a bad practice, you can also see it when you try to highlight. You see, you can see that, oh, there is a text there, but because the colors are the same, you guys didn't see. So this is some of the trick that students used to do whenever they were writing an essay. They would write an essay and then maybe write everything until 2,500 words, but the lecturer said the essay must be 3,000 words, and then they will just write a bunch of random text using the color white so that the text is not seen. It matches the color of the paper. Yeah, but the system will say they are 3,000 words. Can you please explain padding? Thank you. This is a wonderful question. While we are still with CSS, when we are talking about padding, we are talking about a space, right? But there is a difference between the types of spaces that you see in an element. So there is margin. Margin is a space outside the element, right? And then padding, it's a space inside the element. If you guys are still confused, let me make this example. This one is always a good one. So your house and your neighbor's house, the distance between the two, it's called margin, because the house is an element of its own, and the other house of your neighbor is an element of its own. So the spacing between the two, it's called a margin. So a margin, it's a space outside an element. Now let us come to padding. Padding is the space between the furniture or the content inside the house and the wall. So for example, you see how far my laptop is from the wall. You see, with the examples of the houses, this space will be the padding, and the distance of this house to my neighbor's house will be the margin. So let me explain this thing so that you guys sort of understand what I'm working on. I will do two boxes here, and then I will show you how the padding works, right? Oh, let me make a box that has a text inside it, right? So I will just say div. Let me put it like this so that some of you may understand what I'm doing. And then I will just say, let me just add a paragraph inside the div, and then this is the content. I will say this, or let me just say content, right? I close the P, and then I close the div as well, right? I close the div as well. So remember, margin is the space outside, padding is the space inside. So let me just run this and see how it looks. So for now it just says content, right? and then I will come to the CSS. I want to make the div, I want to make it for example, so let me just say div, oh sorry, the div I want to make the color blue. I'll just say background color, background color, I'll just say blue, and let us see how it looks. As you can see, okay, some of you may not see very well, but the background color, it's taking the whole space, right? So before I make the changes, I want you guys to see how it looks currently, right? It looks like this. So now let us do the margin and the padding, so that who asked the question, so that I forgot the lady. Oh, so that lit later can understand the padding and the margin, right? So let us look at the div, right? So with the div, if I say, oh, let me do it inside here because I'm still working with the div. So if I say margin, right? If I say margin, and then let me just do 30 pixels so that you guys can see the effects. So the div, it's the box that is blue, right? And if I say margin 30 pixels, I am expecting the box to have a too much space here at the top. I am expecting it to have too much space here at the top, and also too much space here on the side, because a margin, it's the space outside the element we are working on. That is what I'm expecting, because my explanations or the knowledge tells me that's what margin is. So let us say run. So as you have noticed, the move, I touch my laptop. Is it charging? Okay, it's charging. So as you guys noticed, there was a space between the top and the side. Let me further say 60 pixel for the margin, so that you can see that it will be the space around the content, I mean the box. So if I say, and also there on the other side, it did have some space. So if I now say run, it will have greater space there, greater space there at the top. The one at the bottom, we won't notice it because there is no what is it, element. So if I say run, as you can see, now there was so much space on the sides. It was the space outside that is margin, right? So now let us talk about padding. Padding is the space inside. Let me just make the text white so that you can notice it. So let me just say div p, and then let me say color white so that you can see the color. Let me just say white, and then let me close. Right, I want to make this color white so that you guys can notice. You see the color is white. So now we will do an example of padding. Padding, it's the space inside the box, right? So basically the box with padding is trying to say, hey you white word, don't be too close to me. As you can see now, it's very too close, right? So we use padding for that. So we will say padding, and then with padding, let us just use 20 pixels so that you guys can see the effects here. I'll just say 20 pixels. And if you're wondering what pixel is, it's a measurement of each pixel on the screen. That's how best I can explain it. So if I say run, you see now there is 20 pixels at the top, 20 pixels, 20 pixels. That padding it's the space inside, and margin, it's the space outside. I hope you guys from today you won't be confused with these two types of spacing. If I skip your question, please don't be afraid to ask it for a second time, because it can take me a while to look back to the screen to read your comments, guys. How often do you do the sessions? I used to do them three times a week, but now I do it once a week because there are other projects I'm busy with, so the time it's no longer there. But if the numbers do want me to, if the majority of you guys want me to do this every now and then, I can go back to the schedule I once had and give you the sessions. Yes. And also, if you joined late, this session is being recorded, the whole screen, so I will post the video after I am done with the tutorial. Yes, I am reading comments now. I want to see margin outside, padding inside. Yes, exactly like that. And some of you may want to manipulate the spacing. Maybe they want to be specific. They don't want the padding to be all over. For example, here, let's say you don't want it to be there at the top, you don't want it to be at the bottom. You can still manipulate it here. You can come to padding and then you say padding dash, and you want it to be only on the left. So if I say run, the space that you see here at the top will be gone, but the one on the left hand side will remain, because I was being specific here. So if I say run, as you can see, the space on the side on the left, it's still there. Some of you may not notice the space, so let me make the padding too big. I will just say 120. Let me say run. You see, it went there. It didn't give a space on top and bottom. So with CSS, you have all of those all of those advantages. You can also say padding bottom, for example. Some of you are wondering, and then now it will go back here, but there will be a lot of space at the bottom. So let us do that. Let us say run. As you can see, it went back to the corner, but it gave the 120 pixel at the bottom. And some of you will say, but Gift, there is still space here on the other side. The reason why there is still space is because the paragraph that I have, it's only one word, so it doesn't contain the whole box. But if I were to continue write more text here, for example, forget the spelling, let me write some random text here on the screen. So if I say run, you see it takes the whole space, you see, but then this 120 will always be there. So if I add so many text, the box will grow because it wants to maintain my 120 pixel. So some of you may want to put that into test, so let us do it now. So let me add another content here. So no matter how many text I add, it will always keep the space that I said I want. So I'll paste the text, and if I say run, you see the text is now a lot, but still the 120 it's there. So that is how you deal with padding and spacing. Yes. Okay, thank you. You are welcome. So some of the other things that you guys may want to pay attention to. So every time when you get into CSS, the first thing they teach you it's what HTML is, right? I already told you that. The second thing you need to learn it's the tags. So tags, it's anything that is in between the greater than and less than sign. those things are called tags, right? HTML tags. And you need to be familiar with the HTML tags, because trust me, in the long run your knowledge will be tested. So if you skip that one, you will be lost along the way. So there are a lot of HTML tags, and each has its own role. You can't just do however, you see. So each HTML tag has a specific role. And for example, the P tag is not made to accept user input. If you want someone to be able to type on your page, then you need to have an input type. I'll just make an example. I'll just say input, and then I'll just say type, and then I will say text. For example, I'll just say text, close here, close here. So if I say run, now we have a box where a person is allowed to text. So what I'm trying to say is, you need to know all of these elements so that you know which one is good for what specific goal you want to achieve, right? How do you keep the display the same on laptop and mobile when rearranging content? Yes, so with that one, you need to familiarize yourself with what's this thing called. It's called mobile responsive. Yes, how do you keep the display the same on laptop and mobile view when arranging content? So most of the time, if you don't want to deal with so much CSS, I have a website like this. So you see, with this website, because I didn't want to deal with too much CSS, even if you look it in a mobile screen, it will look like this. There is no rearrangement of items there. But let us go to my other website where a screen matters. There will be some rearrangements there. Let us go to this one. It's my first website, guys, so don't judge me as to how it looks. It's called AmaVideos. As you can see, if the screen is too big, there will be 1 2 3 4 videos on one line, right? But if the screen becomes too small, there will be now 1 2 3 items. And as you can see, it doesn't allow you to scroll horizontal, but it decided to have 1 2 3. And the smaller it gets, now it has 2, and then it has 1. But when it has 1, it looks funny. It's not that good looking. So with this one, there is a specific code that you use. It's called media query, if not mistaken. That is where you rearrange your... Hey, do you create websites your own? Yes, I do create websites on my own, and some of them I use templates. So to sort of rearrange the items on the screen, I will make one example, but it won't be about the items. I'll just make a background color, that if the screen is too small, I want the background color to be like this. If it's too big, I want it to be somehow. So if no, I forgot the exact code for this one, guys. So I will need to look it in one of my projects. I forgot the code for this one, guys. It's been a while since I did the coding, so let me just go to one of the CSS here and then try fetching. It's called media query. I just forgot. Yes, it's written like this, at media, but I just forgot the syntax, and I didn't want to make mistakes, so I'll just copy it here, and then let us go back to our coding. So this one, it's a CSS thingy, right? So let us put it here at media query. This one, it's 992. So before I even write here, let me what is it, give you an understanding of what this thing is. So it says here, when the minimum width is this size, and the minimum width, they are looking at the page where your website is running. So if they are the minimum width, it's this size, anything inside those curly brackets will take effect, right? So let us make an example of colors here. I will just do the thing of body and then do the background colors, right? So I will just use this one of pink for now, and then let us make another example where we say if the media query it's in another size. Excuse me, you can have lots of media queries as you want. So for this one it says minimum is this one, so let us make another one of if the minimum is 500 for example. Let us do a instead of pink we'll just do green. I'm trying to take advantage of the colors. And if it's too big, let's say 1300, we will just do brown, right? So now let us say run and see how it will look. So if I say run, it gives us the color green, meaning our minimum width it's 500, but it's not yet pink, right? So let us try increasing the width of this page and see if the color will take effect. So if I come here and then I sort of increase, let me increase, now it turns pink. That is because it is now 92. I think this number is too big. Let me put a number that is close so that we can see the effect, right? Let me just say 1000. If I say run, it will continue being pink. Oh, now it's brown. I think I did reach the brown, but if I go back a bit, it should be pink somewhere. Now it's pink, and if I continue, it is now green. So green will stay for a long time, and then pink only takes a small portion. Now it's pink, and now it's brown. The reason being it's because the difference between the pink and the brown, it's only 8 pixels. So let me take this one to 700 for example. 700, let's say run. I see. So now brown, you see when the screen is too big, the background color is brown, but when it's sort of medium, it will be pink, and then when it's too small, it will be green. So this is how you do the arrangements when it comes to what is it, when it comes to the CSS. And let me make another example that you can make some items disappear when the screen is too big. So for example, I want this what is it, I want this box, I want it to disappear when the screen is too small. So currently, let us do current. So currently, if it's too small, the box is still there, you see. Or let me just say, if it's too big, I want this box to disappear, right? Now it's available in every screen width. So what I will do is that I will come here to this one and I will just say I want the div. I will just say div, and I will just say display, and I will just say none. Here I'm telling the learner that when it reaches this size, I want this box to not be displayed. So let us say run. So as you can see, when it's small, it's there. When it's medium, it's there. But the moment it gets big, I am expecting it to disappear. So let us, you see, now it disappears. So that is how you play around with media queries. So you can put a reasonable size here, which is recommended. I was just making rough examples here, but for the pixels you need to consider the width of screens of mobile devices, laptops, things like that. But remember, I am not trying to be your parent here. I'm just trying to introduce you to coding, so I won't be too nagging about the good practices. You see, you guys, you are still new, so play around with the coding. If you find errors, you can come to me saying, I am trying to do this color but it's not appearing, and then I give you tips as to, okay, this is how it's done, this is how it works, etc, etc. Yes. Let me read the comments because it's been a while. Someone says, there set sizes of screens with we need to know. Yes, you do need to know the sizes. I don't have a specific website, but a simple Google will just let you know that most of the mobile devices, they have this size. With laptops, I think it's 1920, the width. There are specific sizes there, but you can use your own if you want, but it is recommended that you use the ones which suits the devices that are well used in the internet space. To code the website, you use HTML5. uh, there there is a difference between HTML and HTML5, and let me give you a short answer with that one. They are both the structure of a website. The HTML5, it's an improved version of the HTML. What they did there with the HTML5 was to add tag elements that makes it easier for the web browser to understand your website. So before HTML, there was no need for us to when you were doing the menu of your website, you can just say home, contact us, about us. But now it is recommended to use the tag header, you see, and then you will then write your home, your about us, etc, etc, and then you close it, right? This makes it easier for the web browser to understand that, oh, the guy what is doing here, or this section of his website, it's the navigation bar. Also the navigation bar will have the nav, etc, etc. So all of those key global tag elements were introduced with the HTML5, so that it makes it easier for the web browsers to understand your website. Before, you can just say HTML H1 paragraph, H2 paragraph, etc, etc, but now we have these things of div, and we also have another one of section, where you write your content. You can open it and close it. We also have another one of aside. If maybe your website has two content, you have the main content and another content on the side, you can use the aside tag, so that your browser can quickly understand what your content is all about. But then those were introduced with HTML5. You see, that is the difference. Yeah. But you can still use the pure HTML to build a website. It can still run very well. What is the app you are using? I am using a website called w3schools.com to do this. Okay, are there any other questions, guys? I think I should end the session, and if you guys want me to continue, I will just record a part 2, but the session won't end. I will just end this video, upload it on YouTube, and then continue record another part 2. So do you guys have any questions? You need to take a break? What's your pick? I was supposed to end the live session at 10, but because you guys are very engaging, I decided to continue explaining, give examples. So guys, would you like to take a break? Would you like to say it's enough for the day, or when is the next session? Tonight evening, we can have a session. if you can follow me, what is it, TikTok will let you know when I go live. That it's also an advantage. So tonight evening, yes, we can do a session. I'm not so sure with the specific time. That is why I'm not saying it, because there are other things I do. Tonight works for me. I need to go and practice. Okay, let us just say tonight 6:30. Yes, tonight 6:30. And if I'm late, you guys please forgive me. Yeah, tonight around 6. So for those of you who did enjoy but you feel like you didn't see very well, or my network was sort of lagging, I will post the session now on YouTube. So when you go on YouTube and you go to my channel at around 11 o'clock, the session will be there. I will come back with more questions. I love questions. They make me focus when I sort of explain, because I may be talking here but some of you may be confused. Oh, what is this guy talking about? But when you ask a question and I now explain, I also feel confident that there is someone who is genuinely going to understand. Yes, so I always encourage you guys to ask questions. You can also ask questions like, why do we use curly brackets? Why can't we use the bracket? And then I tell you that, okay, this was a set rule, you see, by the developers. And then you can just ask anything. If I have the answer, I will give it to you. If I don't, I will try to make research and come back with an answer. Because if you are someone who is relying on someone, you always want to get the best answers. The same thing when you are in high school, you ask a teacher a question. Your expectation is for that led teacher to give you the best answer, and if they say I don't know, you also somehow get disappointed, things like that. So I always make it a challenge for me to bring back the answers. You see, I can't just say I don't know and then leave it there. For example, someone asked me, are there specific screen sizes? And I was like, there are screen sizes that I know, but I don't want to give you a half answer. So I'll go look for that website that deals with screen sizes, and yeah, you can utilize using it. That's it for today, guys. Let me not waste too much time. And for you who are watching on YouTube, thank you guys for being patient while I entertain these ones who are here on TikTok. Much appreciated. And if you do want to learn things like this, you just want to get started, you see, you can join my community, and I promise you will learn a lot. Thank you.